What's up, YouTube? This is Mikey C here, and I'm giving you my first 2020 NFL Draft quarterback rankings. And these 12 players, I believe, are the ones that will be getting drafted in this year's upcoming draft in Las Vegas. First and foremost, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Give me a thumbs up, leave some comments below, and let me know what you think. All right. First up, of course, we got Joe Burrow, LSU Jr. Got a nice size, 6'4". Put up ridiculous numbers this year. 5,600 plus yards in the air, 60 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, playing in a tough SEC. And to boot, he won the Heisman Trophy and the national championship. Whoever drafts him number one overall, whether it be Cincinnati or another team that gives Cincinnati a heck of a picks or compensation, whatever they want to move ahead and pick up Burrow. I believe this player here, he's going to be a solid pro, and he could be a franchise-changing type quarterback. Up next, we got Justin Herbert. Yes, I do have him ahead of Tua. I just believe that since the end of the season, he's boosted his status immensely. Had a solid career at Oregon. Great size at 6'6", 235. His Senior Bowl is what's really helped his stock. And I'm hearing through different wires, such as ESPN or FanSpeak, that Justin Herbert is potentially could be drafted ahead of Tua, whom here I have ranked number 3. With Tua, he's a leader. He's a winner. Great sophomore and junior years. Size is after Russell Wilson and players like Kyler Murray, and even Drew Brees, size isn't really the issue it once was back in the Doug Flutie days. But when it comes to Tua, when he is on the field, and that's going to be a question, and that's what may push him to be the third, possibly the third drafted quarterback in this year's draft. He'll still be a top 10 pick, I believe. But if he can, once he can get rid of that injury bug, we can see Tua being a very successful quarterback in the league, I believe, for many years. At 4, Jordan Love. It took me a while to get on the train with him. He is a great player. This year was nowhere near as good as it was last year. He put up some amazing numbers last year. 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But this year, his interceptions multiplied by 3. And his touchdowns were way down. He does have great size. He is a junior coming out. They play for Utah State, which isn't in your Power 5. Teams probably keying in on him a little bit more this year. That's why we see a drive up in the interceptions. And then he does have some character concerns, but a team's going to fall in love with the football player, and that enough will get him drafted. I'm hearing as high as Chargers at 7. Colts are looking at him, or I'm sorry, Chargers at 8. Colts are looking at him, or I think it's the Cardinals at 8. Chargers at 6. But I would not be surprised if he was gone before the 20s of that first round. Next up, Jacob Eason. Yeah, I think he's in the late first round. He might sneak in there. A team wanting to get that 5th-year option. To me, he's more of a early second round pick. Obviously got the size there. Put up some good numbers at his 1 year at Washington. He did transfer from Georgia. He's only has 2 seasons in college, so his playing experience is pretty limited. But he does have some great size, poise in the pocket. He's willing to take a hit. And a team that, as I said, may jump back up into the first round and get that 5th-year option on him, develop him. And down the line, we could see him having a pretty decent career. Maybe not a Super Bowl winner, but we have Super Bowl quarterbacks that win all the time that aren't your prototypical quarterbacks. So, up next, we got Jalen Hurts. I think any other year, Heisman Trophy winner for sure. Best college football season for sure. I mean, he had an amazing 1 year at Oklahoma, putting up over 5,000 yards passing and rushing, over 50 touchdowns. He only threw 8 interceptions. He is a solid dual threat quarterback. His size is a lot better than expected. Teams aren't in love with his passing, his arm, his accuracy. Playing at Oklahoma has produced the past 2 number 1 picks in Mayfield and in Kyler Murray. Hurts may not be on the same level as them. And when it comes to a dual threat quarterback, he may not be a Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. But I can see him at worst being a Dak Prescott with more mobility. A team may fall in love with him. I could see him being a mid to late second round pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get picked until the 4th or 5th. Next up, we got Jake Fromm. He came to the combine as I was doing this editing, and come to find out I had the smallest hands at the combine for the quarterbacks, top tier quarterbacks, and that may be a concern, and especially with the physicality of his game, his mental makeup. He's tough, and he's won some games for Georgia, tough SEC. He did take the job from Easton, and that's why Easton transferred. But I can see him falling off some of the team's boards due to measurements. But someone in the 3rd round, I can see taking him for sure. Come up next, we have Anthony Gordon. Could be a 1-year wonder at Washington State, just like Gardner Minshew last year. Is he another Gardner Minshew? Is he a system quarterback? He put up some really good numbers. He does have good size. A team could fall in love with him just like Gardner Minshew last year. Will he get the same chances? It all depends on injuries. His coach, Mike Leach, is proven to put great quarterbacks out there. Passer-friendly system. You put him in a spread offense, and this guy let it fly. Multiple receivers. He could end up being somebody's number 2 quarterback and could have a career as a number 2. And many players have done it, and I can see him doing that. But I would not be surprised if somebody were to fall in love with him and pick him up in the 3rd or 4th round to develop him and see him starting as a quarterback at some point next year in the NFL. Ranked number 9, a surprise entry to me, because I feel like if he would have stayed one more season, got a little bit more seasoned there at Hawaii, he could have been a 2nd rounder. Maybe even worked himself up to a late 1st round, depending on who declares next year and who doesn't. He's a 2-year starter at Hawaii, over 8,000 passing yards, 69 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, great size, 6'4", 220. He's got a great arm. He does play for Hawaii. He's not putting up numbers like Timmy Chang did back in the day, but I believe Cole McDonald is someone that a team is going to take and mold him into a good quarterback. And I would not be surprised to see him getting drafted before the 5th round, but more realistically, he's probably a 6th round pick in my mind. Up next, Tyler Huntley, Utah. He's a winner. He's a leader. Great senior season. Doesn't make too many mistakes. He's mobile. He's accurate. Size isn't too much to worry about. Somebody like a Baltimore Ravens or Seattle, I could see taking him to back up their mobile quarterbacks just in case an injury happens. Tyler Huntley is a kind of quarterback that will make it in this league because he is very limited when it comes to making his mistakes. He doesn't make too many of them. He almost took his team to the college football playoff this year. And he might be a late 5th round pick, but he could also be a 7th round pick or undrafted. It just depends on if he can fit the scheme, see how his combine goes, pro day. But Tyler Huntley, in my mind, I definitely see making it in the NFL from 2020 and beyond. At number 11, Got the tank, Nate Stanley, 6'4", 243. Great build for a quarterback. Tough. Ben Roethlisberger size. Experienced. Great game manager. He's somebody that you can plug in there, and if you have a solid running game, you have experienced, sure-handed receivers, he could lead a team to 10 wins easy. Nate Stanley doesn't make mistakes. He's going to stand in the pocket, take the hits, find the open receivers. He is someone that I can see sneaking into the 4th round. Someone giving him a chance. You get a great offensive line in front of him, and I said in the ground game, Nate Stanley can do some damage just like any quarterback can, but I feel like he's great in a pro-style system, so I believe almost any system in the NFL, you can plug him in, he can play and manage a game for you. Your starter gets injured, a high-profile player gets injured, like a Breeze or any of the top-tier quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, you throw him in there for a couple games and he's not going to lose them for you. I think he can control the game for you. And that's something in the later rounds is what teams are looking for, a great game manager, and Nate Stanley of Iowa. He can do that for you. And then my 12th quarterback of the top 12 for eligible in this draft this year, FIU senior, James Morgan, 6'4", 213. Very low numbers when it comes to interceptions. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He controls the game. Was Lane Kiffin a good enough mentor for him? I believe so. Kiffin, through all his coaching trials and tribulations, he does have a good mindset for the game. And James Morgan could have definitely progressed because of that. He played a couple years there for FIU. And I see him being a great late round pick. He's a native of Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I would not be surprised if the Packers are to take him with the 7th round pick. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have many years left. And James Morgan actually grew up idolizing him and Brett Favre, so if he can be a tenth of what those two are, he could be someone that could take over for Rodgers for a couple years, stopgap quarterback, bridge quarterback, whatever you want to call it. That's if he does get drafted. I have him as a 7th round pick. I don't see him going any earlier than that. But this is video taping on the first day of the combine. A lot of things can happen after pro days and interviews and such. So, with that being said, my 12 quarterbacks this year for the 2020 NFL Draft. Joe Burrow, as I said, early 1st round pick. Justin Herbert as well, and Tua. We got Jordan Love, I believe is going to be a 2nd round pick this year. Jacob Eason may get into that late 1st round, but he's definitely no later than a 2nd round pick. Jalen Hurts can go, I believe, anywhere between 2nd to 5th. It just really depends on if the team falls in love with him or not. Same goes with Jake Fromm. Anthony Gordon had a solid 1 year at Washington State. I can see him being drafted in possibly late 4th. Cole McDonald, early 6th. Tyler Huntley, late 6th. Nate Stanley and James Morgan, both 7th round prospects in my mind. So this is my video for the top 12 of my opinion in this upcoming 2020 NFL Draft. Please feel free to leave your comments below. I'll take constructive criticism. I'm all for it. I'm definitely a football nerd when it comes to all this stuff. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you for watching. And I will be having a running back video out within the next couple days. Later.